The stomach. The stomach is an organ of the digestive system. Thanks to our stomachs, every human is technically capable of corroding metal and picking up new habits, such as competitive eating. These are possible due to the extremely potent hydrochloric acid and the expandable nature of these organs. So let us watch how our stomach works.
What exactly happens in our stomachs when we eat? Even before we have taken the first bite of a meal, the brain sends impulses to the stomach. These impulses start the production of secretions in the stomach, and the upper part of the stomach, which acts as a reservoir, expands. The food passes into the stomach through the cardia at the stomach entrance. This is a muscle that acts like a valve, closing the top of the stomach. The top part of the stomach, the fundus, is where food and the air that we swallow with every bite is collected. This is where the stomach volume starts to adapt. The fundus is an extremely adaptable structure. The more food goes into the stomach, the more it actively expands. In the middle part of the stomach, called the body, gastric juice is produced and mixed with the mass of chewed food. The main component of gastric juice is gastric acid. This eliminates bacteria in the food and also helps to prepare the food for the following stages of digestion. The muscular contractions of the stomach wall churn the food mass and mix it with gastric juice. 3 contractions per minute move the food mass back and forth. After a certain time, the contents of the stomach are adequately broken down and mixed, and are passed in small quantities into the intestine via the pylorus. As the stomach empties, it gradually returns to its previous size.
Isn't that amazing? Our stomach digests our food. It is a J-shaped muscular bag that stores the food you eat, breaks it down into tiny pieces. It mixes food with digestive juices that contain enzymes to break down proteins and lipids. The acid or hydrochloric acid in the stomach kills bacteria. The food found in the stomach is called chyme. The stomach takes around 4 hours to do its job on the food, depending on what kind of foods are digested. The muscular tubes that extends from the lower end of your stomach to your anus is called the intestine, which is the lower opening of the digestive tract. This is also called the bowel or bowels. Food and the products of digestion pass through the intestines, which is divided into 2 sections. It is called the small intestine and the large intestine. Now let's talk about the small intestine. The small intestine is an organ made up of 3 segments. It is formed through a passage from your stomach going to your large intestine. The opening between your stomach and the small intestine is called pylorus. The second segment is the jejunum. The jejunum is the small intestine's middle sections. It brings food rapidly with wave-like muscles, contraction going to the ileum. The third segment is the ileum. It is the longest part of your small intestine. The segment where most of the food nutrients are absorbed before emptying into the large intestine. As the food reaches your small intestine, the stomach has broken it up and turned it into liquid. The small intestine carries out most of the digestive process. It absorbs almost all of the nutrients you get from the food going into your bloodstreams. The walls of the small intestines are those that make digestive juices or enzymes. They work together with enzymes from the liver and pancreas. Your large intestines measures about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long. It is much broader than the small intestine. It takes a much straighter path through your belly or the abdomen. Its main function is to absorb water and salts from the material that has not been digested as food. It also helps get rid of any waste products left. Most digestion and absorption has already taken place by the time the food is mixed with digestive juices as it reaches the large intestine. The large intestine is composed of the following parts with their functions. The first one is the cecum. It is 2 inches. Digested liquid is taken in from the ileum and passes through the colon. It looks like a pouch. So you look at the arrow, it is pointing to the colon, the major section of the large intestine. So we have the ascending colon, descending colon, and transverse colon. It absorbs salt when needed and is the location where water reabsorption happens. The last part is the rectum. It accepts what small intestines don't absorb. Rectum is short-term storage which holds feces before it's expelled. So it is the waste locator or leftover. It's 2.5 to 4 centimeter long or 1 to 1.6 inches. It is where the final section of digestive system. Before you poop, this is where the waste product is stored. Wow, this is Miss Shara saying thank you again. Another wonderful learnings from our scientific class.